Okay, so chances are, if you are listening to this, I would, I'd say it's quite likely that you um have listened to me before. And yeah, um, I needed a break. Basically, I needed a break. And yeah, and also I kind of felt like I was almost too happy. Like things were almost going too well, but I didn't really have much to like talk about. Um, and I guess I felt like I was, almost like taking a piss of it. Like, there are people out there who have worse problems than I do. They suffer, with, you know, like the negative effects of autism even more severely than I do. And so, yeah, I just felt like it wasn't my place and my time was up. Um, but like, I mean, lately I've realised that that's actually not the case. You know, it is pretty bad for me. It is definitely a lifelong condition. I'm not, it's a terminal illness. I am not gonna get out of it. And so, I'm back. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna, like any old content. I mean, I don't really, I kind of want to do a fresh start, kind of. So, um, there's nothing I particularly like embarrassed or disagree with, things I've said before. But I know it just feels nice to have a fresh start in that regard. And yeah, so yeah. But if you haven't, if this is the first time you're listening to me, then yeah, well, I don't know what you're doing here, but thanks. And yeah, so I guess this isn't going to be about a specific topic today. This is just going to be about yeah, just a sort of like an introduction slash update, depending on where you're from. And so yeah, I mean, I'm like 26 now, and I'm like it's weird. Like in a lot of ways, like I not much has changed. Not much has changed in the past. Well, since I was like a teenager. Not like autism has ruined and does continue to ruin my life. Um, So yeah, I'm gonna go for a list of a few things, my experience, and yeah, I guess this is gonna function as a bit of a, vent for me. Anyway, and yeah, maybe I'll say something that you find relatable and interesting and want me to talk about more, or you want to talk about it to me, or whatever. So yeah, I feel like I need to make this as kind of a last resort, because I don't really have any other way to get it all out. Um, I will talk about, you know, that though, like in a minute. But yeah. So the title says, "I'm 26. I am I'm a borderline neat. Of course, I'm autistic. I really don't like. I think being that old is the thing I hate about myself the most. Um, yeah, I'm still living with my parents. A lot people say I'm not, but I drink way more than I should, way more than is healthy, way more than is natural. Yeah, and I use it to cope with anxiety and other autism symptoms, basically. And I do enjoy it. Um, and yeah, in a sense, I feel like I have no true friends. Well, I mean, true, just yeah, I feel like I don't have any friends really. Because everyone I've met has eventually rejected me one way or another. Um, Sometimes it's after a minute, sometimes it's after a year, but it always happens one, one way or another. Yeah, and I mean, this isn't. I haven't just sat there feeling sorry for myself for 26 years, wondering, why is it so unfair? Why is everything so unfair and stuff. I've tried to fix myself. I've tried to work out exactly the things that are wrong with me. I've tried the self improvement stuff. I've tried getting fit. I tried having therapy. I still go to therapy. I don't think it helps, but it's just habit in a way. And just analyzing social interactions and stuff, trying to improve. But the results have been limited, really. I can't just get rid of what's wrong with me, it seems. I've tried so hard for so long. And yeah, I mean, you know, dealing with all that stuff, this existence has just caused me such crippling social anxiety because I know that it's an extremely high probability that people are going to just find me vaguely strange, rude, unpleasant, or some combination of that. It's brought me to the point that I isolate myself extensively to avoid that pain, but with doing that comes more pain, and so I can't win. I feel like if I were born in a more Darwinian society, I'm certain that by now I would have been euthanized for psychological reasons. Sometimes that does seem the humane thing to do. And if I was in the Netherlands, I mean, it's not Darwinian, but maybe they would help me out in that way. Because it's not fun most of the time, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, and building on that, like my use to others is extremely limited. I can mainly help with a very narrow range of intellectual skills. But nothing that AI can't do easily and stuff. So yeah, I do try to look at things positively though. There are some things, that I've done, experience I can be happy about. Like I have had extensive relationship experience, like it perhaps even passably average, although I was of course a late bloomer. Um, and yeah, I've lived a bit in that regard. I've had, sexual experience and stuff. That's and I do feel grateful for that. I know the statistics, and I know that a lot of autistic people, even getting to the ripe old age of 26, don't experience that, or they get very, very little, or they have to pay for it, or whatever, and I haven't, so it's good, and I'm grateful for that. But that doesn't fail to negate the fact that I currently feel awful, not least from the negative aspects of those experiences, because whenever you have something enjoyable, something pleasant, there's always a negative. At least there is for me. Um, like relationship stuff isn't always positive anyway. Especially not for me. It's like everyone finds a way to take advantage of me in some way. Friends, partner, whatever. Everyone, I have so many weak spots socially. I'm easy to fool in a lot of ways because of I can't read between the lines and that. So yeah, it's not all terrible in that regard. I'm so glad that I'm not heading towards being a 40-year-old virgin. I mean, if I was heading towards that, I would never be one. If you know what I mean, that would just be too shit for me to put up with. I would just, yeah. Well, I don't, I don't want to sound too, like that, but I mean, yeah, it's like, the statistics for depression and stuff for autism are really bad. Um, and yeah, maybe I will go into that again, at some point. But yeah, so, it's kind of middle of the road in that regard, in terms of, yeah, my success, but whatever. Anyway, moving on to the other things. So, I was a straight A student, so much so that I was widely referred to as talented, and sometimes even nowadays, my family and family friends, since I don't really have many friends of my own, of course, they refer to me as that. I am that smart guy, which is, oh, yeah, if only being just smart in that way was actually as beneficial as people insist it is, or used to say it is. But, since school, whatever, hasn't gotten me that far due to a combination of seemingly unmovable obstacles, which I will go into detail about. But not necessarily in order of importance. Some of these obstacles include, but not limited to, my crippling social anxiety, my lack of motivation due to severe depression, lack of help and support emotionally, logistically, intimidation at the unwelcoming and overwhelming nature of career stuff, and also I suffer from general insomnia pretty badly. So yeah, I've got those things to deal with, which is pretty horrible. Yeah, and the truly bleak state of the economy and world in general at the moment, in a way that is a small consolation, or only a small consolation, but because part of my misery I can blame on outside factors. It's not all on myself. So I've got that going. But yeah, it's only a small consolation because I still see other people getting on despite that. And yeah, I mean, all I see really is people getting on with life, being successful, independent, etc., just racing ahead of me, it seems. Even, if a few years ago I was ahead of them, they're ahead of me now. That's just how it is, it seems. It feels like, as if I were to, use a metaphor, I would say it feels like everyone's driving somewhere, like an important journey, but my car's broken down. I've tried fixing it myself. I've tried asking others to help. I've tried, I pay a counsellor to help, but no one can fix it. And yeah, I can't get a lift with anyone, so I'm fucked really. I'm stuck there. And yeah, it sucks. It's painful to have that, other people getting ahead of me. I'm just getting left behind, and every day it gets worse. Every day I'm further behind. So yeah, it's different to just like teenage angst. I mean, I haven't been a teenager for 6 years. My parents still treat me like a teenager, and well, I have the mental age of a teenager. I've never moved past that. I've never been able to move past that. Like I didn't have a relationship when I was in my teens, and I didn't have many friends, and it fucked me up. It fucked me up. Of course, autism fucked me up as well, but it's the environment that you're forced to be in because of your autism that makes the symptoms of it even worse. So yeah, it's lovely. And yeah, of course, when I was 19, whatever, I felt terrible back then too, but I still had hope. I still had hope of things improving in the future, but at this point, if it was going to get better, it would have gotten better by now. It would have stayed better, I should say, and it hasn't. So yeah, now I just feel an overwhelming sense of decline. Every year, things are getting worse. I don't even. I hate birthdays, by the way. I hate birthdays. So yeah, and just a reminder. Well, I hope you're aware of this, but there is no cure to autism. It's a genetic neurodevelopmental condition. And but when I say that, I don't mean suspected or mild, maybe autism. Some teenage TikToker who thinks they've got it because they have a teddy bear or something. It's nothing. It's not that level. It's completely different. I'm talking about true clinical autism. But, if it's mild enough and you have early help and support, then it does seem possible, and there are many examples of this. It's even common to be able to live a normal life. Neither of these were true for me though. So yeah, I'm stuck in that. Autism has ruined my life. So yeah, I just generally see no path forward. Perhaps in a few years I might, succumb to my drinking habits, my, just stress, just destroying my body of being autistic. I mean, the life expectancy for autism, life expectancy or median, I don't know what it is, but what type of average is 54 I've seen. So yeah, that's quite young, really. I shouldn't say that. It's not. I mean, that's double my age. I got more than double this to live. Great. Anyway, yeah. So yeah. Either way, autism is a terminal illness. Since I will die with it, I'm not going to get cured in my lifetime. It's not possible. So yeah. I think that's all I want to say today. Yeah, I am depressed enough again that I think I can make effective content. So there we go. So yeah. Yeah, it sucks. Um, I have gotten further than I thought I would at one point, but can't stay there. It's just it's just not gonna get better. It doesn't seem it. Like my counselor. Like I do have a counselor, and she's nice, but an hour a week with some Generation X woman isn't enough for me to vent fully, and she cannot relate. She can't properly relate, and she has like autistic family or whatever, but it's not it's not the same. It doesn't help. It doesn't work. I don't even know why I do it sometimes. I think I just do it because, there's just I got nothing else. and it's like sometimes I can fool myself into thinking it works even though I know it doesn't. So yeah, that's it basically. But yeah, please, if you do want to contact me, if you find my content interesting, please comment or yeah, follow my information in the description. And yeah, as friendships and relationships seem to be like a revolving door for me, coming and going, never really staying. At the very least, I need some sort of cycle to continue. Like speaking to people online is all I have sometimes. So I would anyone who can relate to my particular situation would be especially welcome, as that can be a source of comfort, perhaps even bilaterally a source of comfort, mutually. Uh, i if I get any sort of positive reception from this, it's likely I will, make more content because it's important for me emotionally to do this. Yeah, I have dozens of specific topics I would like to discuss, in a refined way. So yeah, and yeah, I'm gonna leave the video there. So thank you for listening if you got to the end, and yeah, I guess if you do, thank you for trying to understand my pain. Yeah, all right.